Let's go back. See, for example, I am creating some specification as an example. Now let me open this demo 2023L. Okay, it got disconnected. Give me a minute, Ibrahim.
Okay.
See, if you leave this idle, the server will keep on logging out. Okay, let me open any standard specification like this or ethylene. Look, let me open this ethylene diamine tetraacetate. See here, all the data in each of these value assignment type, it is given by SAP only. See, all this is standard data. How do I say it is a standard data? If I go inside, let's say I will go to first aid measures. Okay, in this, I'll go to first aid related to oil. It is in display mode, so always you select this edit mode. Now, if I go to advice, all the options what you can see here, this is provided by SAP. This is the standard. Okay, they will give you all the options, but you have to select depending on your chemical, which is more appropriate. If the chemical which you are using, can we flush ice with the water? Okay, or if not, then you have to directly go and consult a doctor. Now you may be thinking, okay, sir, but how do I know? Like, I am working as a consultant. I know nothing about chemicals. So which one should I select? That is the next logical question. But remember one thing, this MSDS data and all will be prepared by the end user of that company. Whoever is working in that company, no, whoever is using this software, they will be knowing about the chemicals. They will be knowing which option they have to select. Maybe you don't know because you are a consultant. But they will be knowing, depending on their requirement, they will select the data.
Okay. Are there any possibilities that some of the information is not available in one of these lists? Or everything would be available here?
Sorry, Shivdeep, I could not hear you.
Sir, are there any possibilities any of these control measures would not be available in these lists? Or everything would be available here? We have to just select it.
Yeah, it is possible, quite possible. No, all data sometimes will not be available, or sometimes you have to add your own data. Okay, so see, for example, I selected some data here. What advice you are looking for, if that is not available in this list, then what you can do, you can customize it. What you can do is you can prepare that information and you can add to this list. You can add it here. Don't think whatever is available, only that information you can use. Nothing like that. If any information is not in this list, you can create that and you can add to the available phrases. These are known as phrases. We can add it here.
So any information we can check with that available phrases. If it is not available, we have to manually.
We can create it. Yeah. Possible.
Okay.
Then after you create that, let's say this product hydrolysis with water was not there. For example, I'm telling you, I created this phrase. After creating, I selected. So when I transfer it and when I generate any report, my output on the MSDS will contain this information. Because I have selected this value, I added this value under first aid. I have added this value.
Okay.
And one more thing, remember, another very important thing is your output on the MSDS will only contain that data for which you have created the values here. If you have not assigned any value, then your output MSDS will not contain the information. It will be blank. Like, for example, let me show you. Right click, go to reports, report from template. Okay. Next, select a generation variant as any of the format, whichever you want to select the format. Let's say MSDS for US. Okay, I select this. When I click on display, the values from this will be transferred onto my report. But before that, see this parameter values it is asking. Like if you want to add the material name, you can add, or if you want to create a version, report version number, like 1 or 2 or 3, whatever. The generation date, today's date you can select as generation date. Then print date, 28 it is showing, select 27. Okay, then name of the company. See, I don't want this company name. I will give some other name here. Let's say Tata Chemicals. Okay, and street I will select the road, city, change to Bengaluru, state. I will leave this blank. State I will leave blank. Say 560010. Telephone number, if I want, I can add some telephone number. Okay, then I will transfer. So whatever I am entering here, no, this data will also be included in my report. Material name, report version number, print date, name of the company, etc., etc. Transfer. All the reports are generated on MS Word. Okay, see here. So under the parameter values, whatever I added now on the parameter value page, those information will be in the first section of my MSDS. This is one thing. And second, if you go to hazards identification, see this is blank. Why it is blank? Because we have not maintained any values. Next, come down. You come below, firefighting measures, nothing is there. Why nothing is there? Because we have not provided any input values to the characteristics. But remember this, under first aid measures, I had selected eye contact. I had entered this value in my specification. Let me show this. Refresh. Under first aid IE, if you see, okay, this is the advice I have selected. So that is why in the output of my report, only this value is coming. See, nothing else is coming because I have not selected those values. That is the reason. Okay, only eye contact, eye related first aid measure is only displayed. So if you want to generate a complete report, if you want any meaningful report to be generated, then you have to fill all the details in your specification. All these values you have to provide. Only then your report will be meaningful and it will be complete. Otherwise, it will be like this.
So in the materials specification or chemical component, anything we are entering the specification. So we need to generate MSDS report. We need to go through all the property tree. We need to enter each and everything, this hazard identification, this first aid measure, everything we need to we need to enter manually. Then only we can generate the report. Otherwise, it will be blank only. Similar to this one, it will be blank. Everything.
See, either assign it manually or either use referencing or inheritance. So when you use referencing and inheritance, even at that time the data will be filled, no, in that specific.
Yeah. Okay. This So in the main, if we are putting, we are entering the references, it will automatically take the data from the reference.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that is why we use referencing and inheritance. Just imagine, if you're manufacturing 100 chemicals.
Yes.
How much you will sit and enter the data? It's not possible. So as a standard, they will prepare for one chemical. They will prepare entire details, and the same thing they will keep on copying using referencing and inheritance, so that it will reduce a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly. Now I understood. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that is the use of specifications, and that is the reason why they have given so many options. But it depends. See, like you cannot use both referencing and inheritance at the same time. It is not possible. So wherever you want to copy the data from one specification to 100 other specifications, use inheritance. Or if you want to copy just from one specification to one specification, use referencing. Okay, it all depends on your individual requirement. Okay, understood?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how you can generate reports. Shivdeep, is it clear to you?
It is clear now, sir, but I'm waiting for that phrase editing. So we are going to come up now.
I'll tell you. We'll come to that. First, I have to go through a lot of other things before we go to the phrases.
Clear, sir, till now.
Yeah. Till now, it is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So next is how to create. See what I have shown you up to now. We are using all the available data from the system. All this data is given by SAP. None of this data is our own. Now, the next question is, what if I want to create my own specification? My own specification, I mean, the property tree should also be as per my requirement. I should give the name. Value assignment type also I want to create. Okay, or the characteristics like this advice, I want to create my own characteristics, or even your specification type. For example, here this is a listed substance. I want to create my own specification type. Instead of listed substance, let's say you want to create Z Yuvraj or Z Ashivdeep, you want to create a specification type with your name. How to do that? That is what we are going to learn next. In this, many of the other students have created. I will just show you as a sample. Not this. No. Not even this. I don't know if these people have created or. Let me check. See here, somebody has created. Do you see this real property tree? Okay, this is not a standard property tree. He has given his own name. And if you come below, vacant land, this is not a standard value assignment type. He has created his own value assignment. Under this, see again, the values under each of these are also different. 2 BHK flat, 3 BHK flat, duplex flat. Somebody has created a specification like this. None of these things are taken from standard. They are all customized. So such a specification, we call it as a customized specification. Sometimes, if you are working in a, let's say, support project, at that time they will raise a ticket. If they cannot create a own specification, they will raise a ticket. And they will say, we want to create a customized specification. These are the details. They will share the details. Then you should create it for them. For the end users, you have to create because you are a consultant. Okay. So in that case, you should know how to create these own or customized specification. You should know how to create this. That is what we'll see now. I will just highlight some of the points in this. How to create a customized specification. There are some steps which you need to follow. I will highlight those steps. First step is you have to create characteristics. So we will start with characteristics. Create characteristics. So what I mean by that, I will show you here like this: 2 BHK flat, 3 BHK flat, or color of your color of the shirt, or ice cream flavor, or anything, shirt size, pant size, anything you want, or let us say safety measures and work permit system. Under work permit system, how many work permits are there? Like that. Any characteristics if you want, first that will be the first step. You have to first create the characteristic. Okay, create character. I will not use this example. You will get confused. I will use some standard only. I'll use a standard. Let's say you want to create how you have here first aid measures. First aid measures. Let's go to I. Okay, you want to create this character advice for your first aid related to I. This is known as characteristics. First, you should create this. So the step number 1 is create characteristic. The transaction code to create characteristic is CT04. This is the transaction code. Next step. Step number 2. Create class. This is the second step. Create class. The transaction code to create class is CL02. Okay. Next, third step is what is class C? I cannot show you class here. It is not there. I cannot show you on the screen because class is something, let's say you create 4 or 5 characteristics. After creating those characteristics, you should group them together and put it under one class. Okay. So if I say, type of hazards, then there is electrical hazard, chemical hazard, biological hazard. All these hazards are there. Now, what I will do, I will group them together and put it in one class. That is known as a class, which is not visible to us. When you are creating, you have to create even this, where you can put your characteristics under this class. You have to connect them to the class. This is your step number 2. Third is create value assignment type. Value assignment types. So what do I mean by this value assignment types? This first aid measures, firefighting measures, accidental release measures. These are your value assignment types. And in the theory, if you remember, I had told you, this is known as node in the property tree. This is a node. Okay, the one which is like a folder. This is node. If you open this node, inside this you will find normal value assignment types. These are normal value assignment types. So we will create one folder type value assignment type, and we will create one normal value assignment type. Both we will create. So that is your step number 3. Create value assignment type. So there is no, transaction code for this. You can go through SPRO. So using SPRO, you can create value assignment types. Another 4th step. After creating value assignment types, you have to create property tree. Step number 4, property tree. Okay, this also we will create using SPRO. So what do I mean property tree? After completing creating this value assignment type, next we will go up and we will create this. This is your property tree. We will create this. This is your step number 4, creating property tree. Once the property tree is created, step number 5 is create specification type. We will create specification type. Again, what do I mean by specification type? Like we have real substance, listed substance, pure substance, material specification, basic material, like this. These specification types are there. No, we will create our own specification type. See, some users have created. See here, Z wool, Z pH, Z fuzzy. All these are created by users, because you cannot create specification type by using any letters from A to X. That is not allowed, because letters A to X are reserved for SAP. You can start with Y or Z, okay, and then you can create your specification type like this: ZPP, Z fan, Z expo, Z wool, like this. Use either Z or Y. So we will create a specification type. How to create? Again, go to SPR. So 5 steps are over. Next, step number 6. After creating specification type, go back to value assignment type and assign specification type. See what happens, when we create this value assignment type, we will not mention this belongs to which value, this belongs to which specification type. We will keep it blank. Okay, after we create our specification type, then again we will go here to step number 3, and here we will say, okay, this value assignment type belongs to this specification type. Only after creating the specification type, you can again go back and assign the specification type name. I will show that when we do it, it will be clear for you. But remember this step: go back to value assignment type and assign specification type. Next, how many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Next step is create table-based value assignment. This is another step where you have to create a table-based value assignment. This is step number 7. Once you complete this step, then go to specification workbench and create specification. This is the last. Okay. So after you complete all these 7 steps, in the 8th step, you have to come here to this specification workbench. You have to come here and then you have to create a new specification. Double click on substance and then create a new specification. We have to go through all these steps. There are 8 steps. You have to follow all the 8 steps to create a specification. Okay, any doubt in this? Is it clear? You just have to remember these 8 steps if you want to create a specification. See, it will take a lot of time. If I start creating a specification, at least I need 45 minutes. Okay. If I start now, maybe I will not be able to complete by 10 o'clock. But still, if you want me to start, I can start creating this specification. Or if you want to like ask me any doubts, you can ask me the doubts. Or if you want to download the software and get going, that is also fine. You can tell me. If you want me to continue, I will continue. Shall we continue?
Yeah, Yuvraj, I'm okay if we go ahead.
Yeah, no issues. You can go ahead, sir. No issues. Yeah, Sudeep.
Okay, fine then. So first we will go to the step number 1. That is to create the characteristics. Okay. And I told you the step number 1 has to be gone through CT04. CT04 is the transaction code. So if you come here, this is your screen where you can create the characteristic. See, just follow how I am creating. Okay, later I will clear all your doubts. Okay, just follow step by step how I am creating. That is more important. Let us add some characteristics. What characteristics can we add? Okay, characteristics. Let's say Hazard underscore type. Okay, this is my first characteristics. After entering the name of my characteristic, click on the third button, create button. Okay, then go to this basic data, first option, give the description of your characteristics. Again, you can mention the same name, Hazard type, no problem. Then characteristic group is nothing but if you want to assign this characteristic to any group, you can select any of this group if you want, but it is not mandatory. I don't personally put it in any group. Third is status. Status of your characteristic, you can keep it in 3 things: in preparation, logged, and released. There are 3 status for your characteristic. If you want to use these characteristics in your specification creation, then you need to keep it in release status. You have to keep it in release status. Then go to authorization group. This authorization group, like how we saw in specification workbench, you can select authorization group all, so that anybody who wants to change these characteristic values, they can change it. Okay, this is your authorization group. Next, below you can see there is a data type. So the characteristic values, what you are going to create, are they in the character format you want to use, currency format, numerical format? These are data formats. I'll select data format as a character, and the maximum number of characters what you can assign to your characteristic is 30, maximum 30. Otherwise, what will happen? Let us use 32, and we will see what is going to happen. If you want to make this characteristic case sensitive, you can select this option to make it case sensitive. Or if you already have a template, for your characteristics, then you can upload the template and you can create the characteristic as per the template. Okay, see here, there are some templates available. CCAA to up to this. These are the character templates. And this is a software version. But no need to use this and all. Okay, don't use any template because we are creating our own characteristics as per our requirement. No need to follow any template. Next, on the right hand side, you can see there is a single value, multiple value options. Single value means when you are going to use these characteristics in the specification, do you want to enter a single value like this. How should I say? Okay, let me open. Okay, see here. So there are some SOPs for confined space. Okay, somebody has created this. Now, as you can see, there are he has assigned some values. See here, proper earthing has to be given for your electrical safety. Avoid loose clothing. These are some of the values that is given to our characteristic. Okay, now what happens is when you want to select any value, if you are using a single value here as option, single value, you can only provide a single value. I can either select RCCB for every PDB, insulated gloves, or use plug tops. I can use just one value as the input. If I select one, I cannot use another one. Only single value entry is possible. This is known as a single value entry. But if I select multiple values, then I can give any number of values as the input. Like how I showed you in phrases, if you remember. In phrases, what we do, if you go to any specification and if I want to select more than one option, if I want to select more than one option, it is quite possible for me. See here, I'll go to advice. I'll not select just one. I can select more than one. Keep at rest, first aid procedure, consult a physician, any number I want. Like this, I can select and I can maintain all these multiple values. See, these are multiple values. So it depends on my settings, whether I want to use a single entry value or multiple values. That is the option. Similarly, you have a restrictable. If you want to restrict the usage of characteristics, you can make it restrictable. And entry required means you cannot leave your characteristic blank. See, you cannot leave this blank. At least one value has to be assigned to that. So that you can make it as entry required in this section. Next, let us go to the second tab, description. But when I try to go, you can see here, the maximum number of characters is 30. I can only use up to 30 characters. I cannot assign more than that. I will use only 30 characters. And if I press enter, next I'll go to the description tab. Description tab is nothing but the characteristic which I have created. I can maintain the description of this characteristic in multiple languages. Here, as a standard English language is selected. Next, I want French or German or any other or Spanish. I should select that language, and I have to first convert this hazard type in Spanish, and then I have to write it here. See, don't think as soon as I select Spanish, this will get converted, and you can fill it here. It's not possible. Somewhere outside your recipe, you have to first convert this text into Spanish. That converted text you have to type here. Okay, but here I'm just using the same letter, same words. This is in Spanish. In French, if you want, again convert and maintain the data in French. Okay, this is for multiple languages entry. Then again go ahead to values. First is basic data, second is description tab. Go to values. In values tab, you have to give the value to your characteristic. So what is my characteristic? It is hazard type. So mention different hazards. What hazards you have? Biological. Or let me give electrical hazard, mechanical hazard, chemical hazard, or I will make it as noise. And what else? Okay. Okay, these are some of the values. These values I have given to my characteristic hazard type. Okay. Next, go to additional data. In additional data tab, like if you want to upload any supporting document for your hazard, like SOP if you want to upload, or health and safety briefing if you want to upload the document, you have to first select that document and you can upload it. This first section is used by technical consultants, so we will not go through this. Here you have to enter the table name under which this data will be stored. Table name and field name you can enter. This is used by the technical consultants. But document you can select. All you have to do is go to that particular section and select the document which you want to upload. Let's say this characteristic what you're creating, this is something related to safety. So you can select H&S brief as the document. Okay, this is under additional data. Apart from this, you have procedure for value assignment. Procedure for value assignment means if you don't want to allow any value to be given to your value assignment, then you can select this, not ready for input. If you don't want to display this characteristic on the output, you can make it as no display. Or if you want to display only those values which are maintained under this value tab, then you can select this display only allowed values. You cannot enter any other value apart from these values. These are some of the options we have for value assignment. Okay. And then user entry handling. If you want to make it as an unformatted entry where you cannot format your entry, you can select this option for unformatted entry. Okay, this data you have to maintain under additional data tab. Mainly we use this for uploading documents. Yes, you have.
So the documents we are selecting, it's for the reference purpose only, additional data.
It is, yeah. Depending on what type of characteristics I'm creating, if I want to upload a supporting document, let's say instead of this hazard type character, let's say you are creating some chemical name here as a characteristic. So that you can upload any lab report or you can upload any MSDS for that characteristic or any health and safety.
Can we upload multiple documents on it?
No, just one document.
Yeah. One document.
Yes.
So we have to include in one data sheet all the things and we have to upload it as a single document.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that one document, single document can be uploaded for this characteristic. Okay, but it should be something related to that characteristic what we are creating. See, this is for sample purpose we are creating the characteristic. Sometimes you have to like if it is some safety instruction, then you have to upload SOP document under additional data type.
Okay.
So can you please explain again these points, procedure for value assignment and user entry handling?
1 second. I think it is stuck. See, procedure for value assignment means first option is not ready for input. Okay, not ready for input means if you don't want to assign any values to these characteristics, in the output of specification, you can select this. Then what will happen? You will not be able to assign any value to this characteristic. No display means if you don't want to display any values which you have maintained here under the value tab. If you select this no display, it will not display any of those values under this characteristic. Third is display allowed values. If you want to only display those values which are allowed here in this values, I mean those values which you have maintained, if you want to display them, then you have to select this display allowed values. Only those values the user can select. He cannot enter any data from his own choice. He cannot enter any data. Okay, these three options are available under procedure for value assignment.
So it means we have assigned the values, but it is up to the user whether he wants to display it or
Whether he
input it
wants to
or.
display it or not. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it, sir. Got it.
The main problem arises when the server gets stuck like this often. It's very difficult actually. Whatever you created up to this point, everything will go. Again, you have to create from the beginning. Let me try to open another window. No. CP04. I think the data is gone here. I have to create from beginning. Let me create that type. Create. Description again that type. Release authorization group. Character format. The key. Description tab. I will not add in other languages. Let it be just in English. Go to values. 01. Electrical hazard. Noise. Chemical hazard. Okay. Additional data. Like I told you, if you want to upload any document for your characteristic, you can upload it. That document should be available in your server. First of all, it should be there in the server. Not only EHS document, there will be many documents related to materials management, related to any other module. You have to select your data document and then you have to upload it. Last tab is restrictions. Restriction tab is used. See this characteristic which I have created. If you want this characteristic to be available only in one particular class, then you can assign it here. Okay, let me show you what are the different classes we have. See, these specifications are not only created in EHS, they are also created in other modules, like in plant maintenance module, the classes are created. Even the characteristics are created in different modules. So here you have material class, equipment class, functional location. This is belonging to PM module. Material class, MM module. Equipment class, again PM module. Like this, even in other modules, they create these classes. So we are currently using this characteristic for our EHS application. So in that case, we can go to class type 100 and we can assign this characteristic values for substance. So if I select this class type as 100, my hazard type characteristic is there. No, this can only be used in class 100. I cannot use this in other class. So if you want to restrict your characteristics to any one particular type of class, you can restrict. So it is only available in class type 100. Nobody else can use this hazard type, in their own classes. They cannot use it. This has become restricted. That is why we use this restriction tab. Okay, any doubt here? Let's say if somebody, in MM module, they are creating any characteristic for their own use. At that time, what they will do, they will use their own class type. Maybe they will assign their characteristic to master material class or to equipment class or to customer class. So what will happen? This characteristic will be applicable only for that type of a class. And here, since we are using EHS, for EHS purpose we are creating, so use characteristic values for substance, class type 100. After you create this characteristic, save. Okay, and also you have to make a note of this. Otherwise, you cannot remember what you created. It will be very difficult to find. So after creating each data, please make a note like this. One characteristics I created. We have to create one more. One is hazard type. Next is let's say a control measure. Okay, I will create one characteristic control measure. Okay, click on create button, and here also you mention control measures or control measure. Keep it in release status, authorization group all, data type character, number of character restrict to 30. Go to description. It is coming in English language, so fine, that is fine. Go to values and mention the different characteristic values for control measure. So what characteristic values you want to put? I have used electrical hazard. So let's say photo system. Second, mechanical hazard. For mechanical hazard, let's say what is the best control measure for mechanical hazard? If there is a mechanical hazard, what is the best control measure for mechanical hazard?
Machine guarding, sir.
Very good. Machine guards, right? Guard system.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, correct. Machine guard system. And noise DTE you have to do. And for chemical hazard, let's say apron mask and gloves. Okay, we can use. Okay, these are the characteristic values for your control measures. Just example, I am creating this. Okay, next go to additional data. If you want to upload any document, you can upload, but it is not mandatory. You can leave it if you don't want to upload any document. Go to restriction, select 100 as a class type. Okay, now again save this data, control measure, and make a note. Hazard type and control underscore measure, right? Yeah, okay. This is your two characteristics. Next, step number 2. We have to create a class. We have to create a class. So what class do we have to create? We have to create a class so that we can put these two characteristics into the class. Okay, we have to assign these two characteristics to our class. So let us go and create one class. Transaction code is CL02. Okay, give a name to your class. What can we give? Class. Let's go HZ. Let's give this name, or maybe Z underscore class, something like this. Next, I have to select the class type again as 100. I have to select the class type as 100. Next, click on create button. Give a name to your class, select class type as 100 and click on create button. Next, it is almost same like how we saw for characteristic. Description, hazard class. Status should be released. Again, in status, you have 3 options: in preparation, released, and logged. If you want to use this class in creating your specification, it should be in release status. And if you want to put this class into any group, all these are groups of classes. You can assign to any of these group if you want. Otherwise, keep it as it is. Organizational area is one of the functions that is used by PM module and MM module. It is not applicable to EHS. Organizational area means, you know what they do when they create any class. They will assign that class to one organizational area. Like it can be production area, maintenance area, workshop, like that. They will have different organizational areas. So this class to whichever organizational area they want, they can assign it. But here we will not assign any organizational area because this class is applicable for all the areas, not any particular area. So just keep it as it is. No need to assign anything. Next is, whenever if somebody is creating a class with the same classification, I mean with the same class type, if somebody is creating a class, then it will check whether is there any collision between the two classes. Okay, if you want to check, then select this warning message. If there is a clash in data, then it will generate a warning message. If you don't want that to check, you can select do not check. And if you want the system to generate an error message, then you can select the third option. This is for the class. When you are creating class, and if there is any same kind of a class you are creating for class type 100, then the system will check whether there is any collision or same data is being repeated or not. It will check and it will warn. You can select any one of them. You can keep it do not check also, that is fine. And on the right hand side under authorizations, If you want to allow any user to maintain this class, like he can change the values, he can edit the class name, or he can do any changes in this class. If you want to authorize somebody, okay, you have to enter his code here so that he will be able to maintain the class. Again, we will not enter anything. Next is keywords. Keywords are nothing but if you want to search this class, out of there will be hundreds of classes. If you want to use the keyword in searching the class, then you can use any keyword like hazard. You can use uh, electrical safety, chemicals, noise, anything. You can add the keywords. Okay, these are the keywords by which you can search for this class. Third tab, characteristics. Remember, we had created two characteristics. So those two characteristics we have to assign it here. What are those characteristics? One is hazard type and control measure. These are the two characteristics. So enter that. Hazard underscore type. Press enter. And again control underscore measure. Okay. So these are the two characteristics we created. Assign them to your class. Okay. So this is where you can assign your characteristics. Next is text. Text tab. Here, if you want to add any comment or if you want to add any description of the class, that can be created. How to create that? You should click on this create button. Okay, select long text, continue, and then you can enter the description. Let's say this class is for hazard types, something like this. You can create, continue. In some of the systems, this will not open directly. You can enter, but in some of them, one MS Word document will open. Here you have to type the message, like whatever I entered there, same you have to enter. This class is for hazard type. Okay, and then you have to save this so that this message will be added into my text. Like this, it will be added. Now for your class also, if you want to add any document, go to the document section. You can select any document relevant for this class from the available list of documents and you can upload it. See here, all these, there will be different types of specification, turbine specification, health and safety briefing, or specification related document. So out of all these documents, you should see which is applicable to your class. Again, remember, just because they have given this document upload option, it is not always necessary that you should upload it. If required, you can upload, fine. But otherwise, it's okay. No need to upload any document. For our hazard related, we don't have any document, I believe. If it is not there, you can leave it. Accident injury picture, acknowledgement, video. Thing is there related to this. EHS related, there is nothing. Just what you find in the beginning, only that is there, or picture of injured body. There is no document for EHS. If you want, you can upload this health and safety briefing. This document you can upload. In the last part, we have standard tab. Standard tab is used to maintain all the details. Let's say in your company, if you are following any standard, ISO standard or OSHA standard, if you are following, then you can maintain the details of those standards. What is the standard number, standard name, in which year this certificate was provided. All those details you can maintain under standard tab. Maybe again it is stuck. We have not even completed 2 steps from half an hour. We created characteristics. Class we have got. Okay, let us do one thing. We'll continue this tomorrow, because even if I have to complete it, it will take another 1 hour maybe. Okay, we have created characteristics. This data I have not yet saved, so even this data will be gone. So what we'll do, we'll again connect. Anyways, we are connecting tomorrow at 7. We'll connect and we'll continue. I will just mention what is the class we are going to create. Okay, we'll continue this tomorrow. We'll continue from class. Yeah. Because if it's stuck again, it will again, I have to log in. I don't know how much time it will take. I will stop it here.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So tomorrow, let's meet at 7 a.m.